Welcome to Soul Aligned Self-Care, or welcome back. I'm so happy to be here. I've been away for a little bit this week for my birthday, and I'm back. And today we are talking about how to live in the present moment. And this is a continuation of the Get Unstuck series. I will let you know when I'm done with that one, but I'm really rolling on it and I love it. If you have any questions about this live or any of the other ones previously, please feel free to comment below, or you could also reach out at tina@tinastinson.com. So I do realize that I'm on here a little bit early, but I am going to get started. All right, just making sure everything's okay. So I've been getting this question a ton lately from clients, and this is definitely something that I struggle with. So some people think about the past a lot, right? So they spend time, like reliving the past, and this can show up as depression sometimes or just some depressed moments. And then some people spend time thinking about the future, usually worrying about what's going to happen, worrying about things that haven't happened yet. And this can cause anxiety. And this is where I spend most of my time. I don't know about you, but most of my time is spent thinking about things to come and just way too much. So, for example, when I was traveling at the beginning of the week, I always worry. So, I have to drop my dog off at the kennel and I worry about whether they're going to do okay. Sometimes my dog gets so stressed out that she gets sick when I bring her home, so I worry about that. Then I worry about catching my train on time. Then I worry, oh my God, I worry about everything. So that's part of what I've been working on, trying to bring myself back into the present moment and spend way more time there because that's where your happy place is. This is the only place that you can truly just be happy and be 100%. Like, this is all you really have. The current present moment is all you really have. So the past is done, right? I always say it doesn't exist anymore. The past is done, and the future is yet to be determined. And you can have a powerful effect on the future by how you decide to feel and be in this moment. So this is also something I've been trying to focus on, kind of like maybe manifestation, a law of attraction. But this is definitely two places where I'm trying to work on, trying to keep myself in the present, out of the future, but at the same time having a profound effect on my future by the way that I feel and the way that I act and the way that I think and the way I be in the present moment, right? So I have a few suggestions, things that work really well for me, and I hope they work for you. I have 5 suggestions. But first, I have to like share with you my Joan Jett concert T-shirt that my daughter got for me. So I'm kind of like all rocked out. I'm like having like a flashback from when I was a teenager, when I used to go to all the concerts. And so thank you to my daughter for getting me my Joan Jett rock t-shirt. Very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, so let's get started. Number 1, pay attention to when your thoughts go to the past or to the future. Just being aware is the first step. Being able to call yourself out. And this is me. When I get into like one of those stress loops where I'm thinking and worrying, like at the beginning of the week when I was worrying about traveling, I have to like calm myself back in. And one of the ways you could do this is by really bringing your attention to things that are right in that current moment. It could be as easily as saying, I'm at my desk, I'm working from home, I'm on my computer, I'm enjoying this wonderful cup of coffee, just things like that. And it's even more powerful and effective if you can focus on something really positive that makes you feel good. So, like, with me, it's always like my dogs. I'm so glad I get to work from home. I get to be with my dogs all day. I get to make my coffee whenever I want it, exactly how I like it, and I get to make my own food. So those 3 things, puppies, coffee, and food, are a really great way to bring me back into that present moment and really have gratitude and appreciate where I'm at right now. So that's one way to do it. This is also very effective if you're having a panic attack, which is something that I used to suffer from, but it could be as simple as just naming things right in front of you. Like, I'm on this street, I'm wearing blue pants, the ground is black, there's a tree in front of me, there's a dog barking, like just things like that, bringing you back into the moment so you're not in this like incredibly stressful, anxious loop that I get into when I used to go into panic attacks. So that could be very effective for that also. So, number two, put yourself in a flow state by doing things you love. Did you ever notice that when you're doing something that you absolutely love, that time either passes really fast or really slow? So you could be doing something you really love and you're just like not paying attention to time, you're having so much fun, you're enjoying it, and then you look at the clock and like hours have gone by and you're like, holy crap, that went by, that felt like 10 minutes, right? Or sometimes what also happens to me is I'm doing something and I'm working on something, or I'm in the garden, or maybe even running, and I'm just like in the zone, I'm flowing, I'm not thinking about much, I'm really in the moment. And I look at my watch or my phone or whatever, and I see that like hardly any time has passed. And then I get so excited because I get to spend so much more time doing what I was doing in the first place, which was I was really enjoying. So I don't know why sometimes it seems to pass fast or slow, but that's what seems to happen to me. So putting yourself in that flow state. So what works for you? So for me, it's running. I love running. Whenever I need to like move like unpleasant energy out of my body, so whether it be like anger or sadness, or if I'm just upset about something or stressed or anxious, when I want to move that energy out of my body, I go for a run. So I always used to say to my friends that if I go for a 10-mile run, that you should ask me what's wrong, because that usually means something's wrong unless I'm training for a race or something like that. So running is, I really get into my zone. I like to listen to music. I used to listen to books sometimes, but when I'm listening to the books, it's interrupting that flow state because I'm trying to pay attention to the book. Like when I'm listening to my music, I'm just right in that moment and I'm not thinking about much and I'm really focused on my task at hand, whatever I'm doing. Another place where I experience this is when I'm gardening. So I swear what this is one of those moments where time just like slows down. So like I'll be in the garden and I feel like I'm in there for hours and I love it. I love doing anything in the garden. Even like pulling weeds. I love it. My vegetable garden I'm talking about. I have flower gardens and herb gardens, but I love my vegetable garden. And I'll look at the clock and it'll be like an hour went by when it felt like I was out there for like a whole day. And I'm just like, that's awesome. Like, I just love it when that happens. I don't know if that happens to you. Another time that this happens to me is when I'm working on creative projects. I love doing like different projects for my business. So, like, whenever I'm creating a new program, doing like the graphic design for it, or even writing out the copy for the sales pages or anything that I'm doing, I get like into a zone. And once I'm in that zone, I'm really working and I'm getting a lot done and I'm so focused. And I just really enjoy that type of work. So that's the second thing. So get into that, figure out what gets you into that flow state. Pay attention. And it's a little bit different than when you're driving home and you get home and you're like, wait a minute, how did I get home? A little bit different than that. That's not like your flow state. This is when you're like really doing something that you love, that just makes you feel good. So pay attention, figure out what your flow state is, and do more things that are going to bring you there on a regular basis, because this brings you into that present moment. Okay, next, be mindful and intentional when you're doing your daily actions. So like when you're eating, you're showering, or you're exercising, whatever you're spending your time on. So for example, so if you're taking a shower, just be really intentional to be in that present moment. Don't just go through the motions. Like I always tell people, hop off the hamster wheel, do some things differently. Put some music on, maybe put some essential oils on a sponge and let the water run on it. Like just do something different for your shower. When you're eating, be more intentional about the meal. Like use the good china, use the good napkins, use the wine glass to drink water, like whatever. Just make it more intentional and be there in that moment and really enjoy it. Like ask yourself while you're doing your daily tasks, ask yourself, am I really enjoying this? How can I enjoy it more? Because there's a lot of things we do have to do that um, we don't enjoy completely, but we can make it better. And I'd say that you can cut like half of those things out. A lot of people say, I have to do this, I have to do this. Um, And I love working with people trying to do like a time audit, helping them spend more time on the things that they love and spend less time doing the things that they dislike. So those are the questions that you're asking yourself during the day when you're trying to hop off that hamster wheel, um, and don't do things in autopilot anymore and be more intentional. Am I enjoying this? How can I enjoy it more? How can I spend more time doing things that put me in that flow state? So just being more intentional in every moment, paying attention to all the little details, and just like kind of waking up a little bit. Okay, next. um, okay, I feel like I skipped one. Oh, yeah, I did skip one. I'm looking at my notes. Get outside in nature and appreciate its beauty. This one's really important to me. I live on the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, and I absolutely love it. Pay attention to what's right in front of you. Notice the beauty of nature. Notice the abundance of nature. Notice the perfection of nature. Pay attention to your surroundings when you're walking outside. Even if you don't live in a place that's rural like I do, you could notice these things. You could notice, like when I'm in New York City, one of the things that I notice the most is the birds. There's different birds there than I have here because it's a little warmer there. But there's the pigeons, which I don't know why. Pigeons just crack me up. They have such personality. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all female. I don't know why. They just all look like little old ladies walking around with their heads bobbing and stuff. They just crack me up. But there's the pigeons, then there's the beautiful trees and the flowers on those little specks of grass, and then you have Central Park, which is just this amazing park that you can visit, and then there's tons of other parks um, in New York City. So just paying attention to those little bits of nature that pop through, and the dandelion growing through the sidewalk or whatever. These are bringing yourself into nature and like really paying attention to what you're looking at, and not once again just going through the motions, being in autopilot, being on that hamster wheel with the blinders on. You're not paying attention to your daily life, opening your eyes and enjoying every minute of nature that's in front of you. All the things that are blooming in the spring, the perfection of the flowers, the abundance of, like vegetables and food in the summertime, and then the beautiful colors of the fall, and then that first snow, which is pretty much the only one I like, but that first snow is so beautiful. So just being appreciative and bringing yourself into that moment. Now, what's the last one? This is the last one. So pay attention to the people you with. This is a very important one. And be in the conversation, like really listen. So what a lot of people do, including myself, is they're not really listening to the conversation. They're more focused on what they're going to say in response to some of the first things that other person said. So instead of focusing on yourself, focus on the person that's talking and really pay attention to what they're saying. Because when you're intentional with your listening skills, the person on the other side of that is going to feel it. They're going to feel it if you're all there, and they're also going to feel it if you're not. So they'll they'll be tuned in to the conversation and at the time that you're spending with them. It'll be more meaningful to them if they could feel that you're all there. People know this. It's just very intuitive. So pay attention in the next conversation that you're in and see if someone's listening to you, and like really call yourself into that moment and see if you feel whether that person's listening or they're thinking about their response. Some people are really, really good at this. So I definitely have to work on this. My brain is always like moving so fast, 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 and I'm very impatient. Like, I don't know, like I'm waiting for the person to finish what they're saying. It's like I kind of know what they're going to say, and I'm getting impatient because they're not saying it fast enough. So I'm just a very impatient person when it comes to conversation. So this is something that I work on continuously. But when you bring yourself into that moment and you give the other person the attention that they should have being in the conversation with you, they give you the same attention back, and it becomes just a more meaningful conversation, more meaningful relationship, and a more meaningful connection. So those are the 5 ways. So let me go over them again. Let me look at my notes. Pay attention to when your thoughts are in the past or the future. So calling yourself out, bringing yourself back into the present when you see that you're in the past in like a more depressed state, or when you're in the future, a more anxious state. Number two, put yourself in a flow state by doing the things you love. So, like I would say, the first step would be to figure out what puts you in that flow state. Get outside in nature. Okay, that one's pretty simple. Be mindful and intentional when you're doing your daily actions, and then pay attention to the people that you're with and the conversations that you're with. If you're gonna be in that conversation, you might as well be in the conversation, if that makes sense. If you're gonna spend your time doing this, then definitely make it the best possible way you could spend your time, if that makes sense. So breathe, let go, and remind yourself that this very moment is the only one that you know you have for sure. That's a quote by Oprah Winfrey. Winfrey, my goodness. Um, so these are a few ways that you can get started. And if I really had to sum it up and pick just one thing, it would be to be intentional with your time and the things that you're doing in your life, being very intentional with those things. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, but also let me know if you tried any of these things. I love hearing from you, so you can either comment below, or you could also email me at tina@tinastinson.com. And be sure to follow me on Instagram, and you could message me there. I always get those messages. I love doing these lives every week, but I also love having the conversations with you. So be sure to reach out and let me know which one that you've tried. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye.